The only...
Just another ham. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $3,000 for one of our couples. And if any of them say the secret word, the duck, which is up here, will fly down and give them $100. The word tonight is glass. Okay, duck, go lay an egg. Gentlemen, who's up to bat?
Well, Groucho, we invited some railroad men to the show tonight.
You did.
And our audience selected Mr. Ronald...
Keep track of them, yourself?
The railroad men?
That's the tie that binds, huh?
Yeah. Groucho, we invited some railroad men to our show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Ronald Grice to be on the show. His partner is Josefina Dean. She has an interesting occupation.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Let's see, Josephina Dean and Ronald Grice. Is that approximately right?
My name's Josefina, but everybody calls me Fina.
Oh, Fina. Okay.
Well, Groucho, I have some interesting information about Miss Dean.
You do? Well,
yes.
I wish you'd slip it to me later, huh?
Well, right now, I'd like to say that Miss Dean becomes the 1,600th contestant that we've had on this show.
Really?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Give me 5, huh? You don't win anything, but congratulations anyhow. Well, that's, now that we've passed that milestone, let's find out something about you two. Josephina, is that the way you pronounce it?
Josefina.
Oh, Josefina. Well, Fina is, I'll call you Fina, huh?
That's good. Everybody calls me that.
I'll call you Fina, and you can call me Barbato, huh? If that doesn't put everybody to sleep, nothing will. Where are you from, Fiend?
I'm from Laredo, Texas.
Laredo, huh? Is that near Nacogdoches?
It's a city on the musical scale. Laredo, you know?
Laredo. Oh, was it named deliberately after a musician or something?
I'm sure so.
Fina, your face is very familiar. Haven't I met you someplace before?
I processed your passport application last summer, remember?
Oh, that's right. You remember me, too, huh?
Surely. You asked more questions than anybody has ever asked in the passport department.
Why should you remember that? Doesn't everybody ask you questions?
Yes, but the questions you asked had nothing to do with passports.
That's true, and your answers had nothing to do with my passport either. I'll get back to you in a minute, Fiend. Right now, I'd like to talk to your partner. Ronald Grice, huh? Where are you from, huh?
Well, the Buckeye State, Ohio.
Buckeye State.
Oh, definitely.
Are you married?
Yes?
Why do they call it the Buckeye State? And why are you married?
Well, that's kind of a long story, but I'll cut that short. The Buckeye State,
huh?
They naturally raise Buckeyes back there. Why am I
What
married?
is a Buckeye?
I believe that's a particular kind of a nut that grows on a tree.
Well, let's keep personalities out of this. What is your job, Ronald?
Well, I'm a locomotive fireman.
Oh. Well, a fireman on a big locomotive is one job I've never envied. Isn't that hard work? Shoveling coal all day into a hot furnace?
Well, railroad firemen nowadays do not have to shovel coal. We burn oil.
Shoveling oil is even tougher than shoveling coal. Well, unless you're shoveling soft coal.
Fortunately for us, where they have it piped up to where it goes in kind of automatically. You know, you turn the valve here, pull a lever.
Oh, and it comes out here, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Much easier than using the shovel.
You must have a soft touch, huh? Just turn the valve and your work's all done. You must have a lot of time to catch up on your reading, huh?
Well, we're not allowed to read while on duty.
No? Well, the next time you read, see if you can find out what Buckeye is, huh?
I'll do that.
Well, you're a nice couple, and I hope you win lots of money in the quiz tonight, Fina. Now, you select the general information quiz, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with?
We decide on 50.
50. Well, that's a nice... What city was buried in ashes when Vesuvius erupted in 79 A.D.? Talk it over. Time's up.
That was Athens, Greece, a little bit before my time.
That was before my time, too, but it was Pompeii.
Oh, sure.
Well, you lost half your original $100. You still have $50.
All right, now what are you going to try? The bigger they are, the harder they are.
Well, we'll go down 1 degree, 40.
All right, who uses a light meter and a filter in his profession?
A photographer.
That's right, Buckeye, a photographer.
You now have $90.
Now what are you going to try?
The lady says 60.
60. Who was the Spanish queen who financed Columbus's voyage to the New World?
Isabella?
Isabella is right.
You now have $150.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. What are you going to go for?
Okay, well, we'll try to lose some money. 100.
100. On top of what famous Washington building is the Statue of Freedom? It's a tough one, but it's a lot of money. Talk it over.
The Capitol building?
That is right, the United States Capitol.
Wind up with $250.
Buckeye, you were okay.
Next couple is ready and waiting, Groucho. They're Mrs. Edna Albright and Mr. Tom Sawyer. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Albright, I'll start with you. Do you mind if I call you Edna? Or do you want to be called Eden?
No, just Edna.
Edna, huh? Where are you from, Ed?
From Scandia, Kansas.
Scandia. I thought that was in Sweden. On the Sunset Strip. Now, Mr. Sawyer, you're rather a large party. Could you give us some idea of your size?
Well, Groucho, I'm a little over 6 feet, and I tip the scales at 272 pounds.
How old are you, Mr. Sawyer?
47.
47, huh? Well, where are you from originally?
Kankakee, Illinois.
Oh, I played Kankakee. It's a nice town, wouldn't you say that?
Well, a quaint town.
Yes, it is.
It's one of these towns where you go down the street of a morning, and instead of saying hello, the people say, "Do you know?"
They must have some very stimulating conversations. Well, could you illustrate what you mean? Pretend I'm walking down the street and you spot me now. How would the conversation go?
Well, I'd say, "Hello, Groucho. Do you know that Farmer Jones just had a heifer?"
You're kidding. Do you know I didn't even know he was married? Is that all they do in Kankakee, have heifers?
Well, some of the people don't. They have children.
Well, Eden, is that your name, Eden?
Edna.
Oh, Edna. Let's get some inside dope about you. What do you do for excitement, Eddie?
Raise roosters.
You know, I knew the minute you strutted in here, I said to myself, now there's a rooster woman if I ever saw one. Well, how far off the ground do you raise roosters? What is there about roosters that you find particularly interesting?
Well, I've been breeding for intelligence.
You've been breeding roosters for intelligence?
For intelligence, beauty, with a view to writing about it. And that's what I'm getting some books together.
How many birds do you have at present?
Well, I've got about 400 altogether.
Where do you keep them, and what do you do with all the shoes and pots that come over the fence?
Well, I have the hens and the rabbits and the ducks where I live, and I've had to move the roosters.
That's not very handy for the hens, is it?
No, this is bad for the roosters. It changes their personality.
Well, don't you think it should? Well, Mr. Sawyer, let's leave Edna's other rooster and find out some more about you. What sort of work do you do?
I'm a freelance writer.
Really, I'm glad we finally got back to the cultural level that we're accustomed to on this show. Do you write books?
No, I write for magazines.
What are some of the stories you've written? Maybe I've read them.
Well, let's see. Bullets are leaking blood, and vengeance rides a bloody trail, and murder points a bloody finger.
You just write for children, huh?
Well, most people read them, I hope.
Now, what name do you write under? Tom Sawyer?
Well, most of them are Ned Carter, Lieutenant J.G. Black, Sylvia Sawyer, and Tom Sawyer. The last one I wrote, was recently published, was an article, Should the Girl Kiss Her Beau Goodnight?
This is the whole story?
That was the article, the name of it. That was an article about whether they should kiss the boyfriend goodnight.
And, well, what was your opinion? What did you tell the girl, Sylvia?
Naturally not to kiss him goodnight.
You Benedict Arnold, you. Well, you're a nice, normal, everyday couple. You're my kind of people. Now, let's see how you can make out in the quiz. You selected American history. That's right.
In the race for the $3,000, the first couple won $250. The secret word is glass.
Remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with? Remember your partners.
Well, we agreed. $100 question.
100. Is that all right with you?
Whatever he says.
Hey, Martha Dandridge Custis became the wife of what great American figure?
George Washington.
That is right.
Well, you now have $200.
All right, now what are you going to try?
Well, we're going to write down the string. 90.
90. Okay, what was the first capital of the United States under the Constitution?
Philadelphia.
No, I'm sorry. It's New York. You should have asked Edna. She may have had some roosters in Philadelphia.
That's true.
Well, you lost half your $200. You now have $100.
Okay, now what are you going to go for?
$80.
$80. Now, you ask Edna this time, too, because she may have some knowledge about these things. What was the name of the French nobleman who fought on our side during the Revolution?
That's right. Say it.
Lafayette.
Lafayette, we are here.
You now have $180.
This is your last chance to be the other couples. What are you going to go for?
70.
70? Who was the first vice president of the United States?
Adams.
John Adams is correct.
You wind up with $250.
Put it in, Bob.
We invited some military school boys to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Frank Luke to be on the show. His partner is a housewife, Mrs. Marie Hobbs. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Howdy.
How are you?
I'm fine. Frank Luke, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're the youngest. I'll start with you. Where are you from, Frankie?
From Military Academy, sir.
You were born in a military academy?
No, sir.
How did you arrive? Were you shot out of a cannon?
I was born in San Diego, sir.
Oh,
Really,
San
San
Diego.
Francisco.
You know the chief of police down there?
No, sir.
How old are you, Frankie?
16, sir.
16, huh? What is your rank in this academy? Are you a general?
And captain, sir.
Captain, huh? Well, you're a fine-looking lad. Now, if you just stand at parade rest for a minute, I'll talk to your partner here. Let's see now. You are Marie Hobbs, is that right?
Call me Marie.
I'll call you Marie.
I'm delighted to have you call me Marie.
Where's your home, Marie?
Memphis, Tennessee, way down in Dixie.
Well, that's mighty fine country around there.
Certainly is.
A lot of corn pone down there.
Oh, you bet. Ham hock and lady beans.
Yes. A ham hock, that's an actor that puts his watch in soak? Marie, I'm not going to ask you how old you are because that'll be too crude, don't you think so?
I'll be delighted to tell you my age and I'm proud of it. I'm 76 years old.
Well, you don't look it. You look like a young lad.
But I feel like I'm 16.
You feel like you're 16?
Yes.
Well, you look like you're about 18. What do you mean you feel like
Well,
you're 16?
because I can do anything a 16-year-old girl can do.
You can, eh?
I can walk miles and I can climb a 6-foot ladder and paint
screens and cut the lawn and do anything.
Can you eat 3 bananas?
And I don't have any neuritis or arthritis, any other kind of itis like old women have. I have no varicose veins because I had won a contest showing my legs.
You won a contest for varicose veins?
I haven't got any
Oh. Well, how did you win?
because I didn't have any.
Oh, I know they've had all kinds of contests. I didn't know they had one like that.
I won it anyway because I don't see I haven't got
You
any
got
varicose veins.
a pretty nifty pair of gams. I'm no bum either, you know. Let's see yours.
Oh, mine beats yours. All the people.
Yeah, let's all look at it. Wowee, come on there, up with it, boy. Oh, he's a shy type, huh? Marie, you married?
Oh, must be so. 55 long years.
55 years. That's
Yeah.
certainly something to be proud of.
You bet it is.
After a half a century with the same man, how do you feel about him, Marie?
Oh, I love him just the same as I did the first day I met him.
Well, answer my question. How do you feel about him?
All right.
Well, it's wonderful. 2 people can be married 55 years and still be in love. I'd like to get a look at this wonder man. Mr. Hobbs, would you please stand up?
Oh, he's not here. He lives in Tennessee, and I live here. That's why we stay married so long. Is that a good idea?
He lives in Memphis and you live
I
here in
live
Los
here.
Angeles.
That's 2,600 miles apart.
No wonder it's a perfect
You
marriage.
bet it is.
You must be nuts about this guy,
Oh,
huh?
I am.
Do you recommend this kind of an arrangement, Marie?
Oh, I think it's wonderful because to be married it breeds contempt and absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Well, of course, you can overdo that philosophy, too.
Yeah,
Well, Frank, tell us something about your school. How do you dress at this place? Blue jeans and T-shirts hanging out like other high school boys?
Not quite, sir. We're required to wear clean pressed pants, clean pressed shirt, and hair well combed, clean shaven, shoes shine so the expecting officer can see his teeth in them.
You're assuming that the officer has teeth, huh?
Most of them do, sir.
They do, huh? You have to be clean-shaven?
Absolutely, sir.
Well, my guess is the Gillette razor people are not getting rich of your school over there. Marie, what are your plans for the future? Do you have any in particular, like becoming a sandhog?
Well, in order to keep the children from worrying or go to any expense, I made all my funeral arrangements. Got it all paid for.
You have your funeral all paid for?
Yeah, the preacher and the organist and everything.
Well, that's certainly an unusual way of looking at your demise.
Well, it's a good
You know-
investment on your money. You get 4% if I live to be 105 years old.
Why, how do you figure this out?
Well, I get 4%. Well, we started taking it out 20 years ago. Just look, it wouldn't cost me anything to be buried.
You mean you paid all this in advance?
Oh, you bet. I'm going to get 4%, today.
Well, this will be the first funeral arrangement in history where the undertaker is the one who goes in the hole. Marie, you got him dead to rights. Well, you're an intriguing couple, and I'd like to go on talking to you, but I imagine you're both more interested in getting rich. Aren't you, Marie?
Oh, yes.
So let's play You Bet Your Life. If you win any money here tonight, are you going to send any to your husband?
No, I think I'll give it to most of it to the Heart Fund.
I see. Well, that's a very worthy place to throw it. Now, we start you off with $100, and if you miss a question, you lose half your bankroll, no matter what it amounts to at the time. Is that clear?
First 2 couples are tied with $250.
Now, you selected capitals of foreign countries. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with? 10, 50, 80, 100. Anything you want. 60? All right, what is the capital? $60, you say. What is the capital of Brazil? Talk it over.
Buenos Aires.
No, I'm sorry. It's Rio de Janeiro. Now, in the next questions, you ask Marie. But it's possible that she may know an answer, too. It may not be the correct answer, but she may know one. Give her a fighting chance, Frank.
You lost half your original $100. You now have $50.
Well, let's take, what was you saying, 60?
Yes, you had 60.
650.
What do you want, 50? All right. What is the capital of the Republic of Ireland? Take a guess.
Dublin.
Dublin is right.
Dublin.
You just got in under the wire, friend.
You now have $100 again.
Okay, now what are you going to go for? Easy ones?
Gotta go 40.
A little. Hard ones are tough. 40? What is the capital of Egypt?
Let's see. Cairo.
Cairo is right.
You now have $140.
Are you fighting with Marie, George?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, I'd like to flirt with you because you're good looking, too. Like Russ, too.
He flirts with everybody, Marie.
Well, that's nice.
Can't trust him at all.
Well, my husband ain't here to interfere.
I heard he was away, yes.
That's more encouragement than Fenneman's had in many months. All right, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. What are you going to go for? Big one or little one?
30.
30? Okay, what is the capital of Spain?
Madrid.
Madrid is right.
You wind up with $170.
Thank
You did fine,
very
Marie.
much. Oh,
Two couples tied for a chance at the big question. We'll have each of them write their answer down on the cards we've given them, and if both couples get it correct, they will divide the money between them. You all set? You have 15 seconds.
Here we go for $3,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. One of the most widely publicized incidents of World War II occurred when the Marines raised the American flag on a mountain on Iwo Jima. For $3,000, what is the widely publicized name of the mountain on Iwo Jima where the flag was raised? All right, give me the card. Well, write something now. Nothing? No, they have nothing now. Well, I'm Edna Albright, and Tom Sawyer's answer is Mount Suribachi, and they win $3,000. A lot of money, $3,000. What are you going to do with all that money, George?
Well,
Plus the additional money that you won in the quiz.
most of it is going to surprise and knock dead some long-waiting, long-suffering predators.
Well, I hope they get their money.
They will.
They were very patient, according to you.
They certainly were.
And how about you, Henny
The
Penny?
same thing. Ditto. Ditto.
You owe the same people that he owes, huh?
No. Probably a lot worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is knife. K-N-I-F-E.
Which you'd like to put on my back. Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Never heard him. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we invited some people from the world of scouting to the program tonight.
Really?
Yes, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Bill Ollinger. His partner is Miss Martha Pendergast, and here they come. Folks, come on in and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you use every day. Oh, thank God. Miss Martha Prendergast, huh?
That's right.
Where are you from? From Kansas City?
No, I'm from Roseville, New Jersey, originally.
Roosevelt, New Jersey?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bill Ollinger, huh?
That's right.
Where were you born, Bill?
Texarkana, Texas.
Texas?
That's right.
Oh. Somebody out there from Peru, I think. Martha, I won't ask you how old you are, should I?
I don't mind telling you.
Well, you say, how old are you, Martha?
I'm 39.
39, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Are you related to Jack Benny at all?
Well, Jack Benny was 39 last year. And
this year would be 38, I suppose. And how old are you, Bill?
17.
17? Well, what's a few years difference to a sailor, huh? Is that right, matey?
Well, I'm not a sailor. I'm a Sea Scout, branch of the Senior Scouts.
Oh, Boy Scout, is that the case?
That's right.
Well, in that case, the romance is off, huh? Well, you say you're not a sailor? Bill,
No.
Well, why are you wearing that uniform?
Well, this is the official uniform of the Sea Explorers.
Of the Sea Explorers?
Yes.
Well, then you're certainly not in the Navy. Sailors do all their exploring on land, don't they?
Hardly.
Is there much difference between the Sea Scouts and the regular Scouts?
Well, we do everything the regular Scouts do, except we do it on the water.
Well, it'd be interesting. I'd like to watch you on a 14-mile hike sometime. Martha, I didn't quite catch Fenneman's introduction. Precisely, what is it that you do?
Well, I'm the executive director of the Girl Scouts of Los Angeles.
You mean you're a Girl Scout?
Yes.
Well, what does your job consist of, briefly?
Well, right now, with the board of directors of Los Angeles, I'm responsible for Girl Scouting in Los Angeles area.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Well, how are you making out?
Well, we're making out pretty well. We have 17,400 girls in this area.
No wonder my scouting is at a total loss. You've got a monopoly. Do the Girl Scouts have a motto like, keep your powder dry?
Well, we have a motto, be prepared.
How about you, Bill? What is your motto in
It's
the
the same.
deep sea? Sea
Be
Scout?
prepared.
Be prepared, huh? Well, that's a lot of preparedness. What's the matter? Don't you trust each other?
Sure, we're good friends.
Well, I'm fairly familiar with land scouting, but how do you conduct your activities on water?
We use a boat.
Well, I didn't think they pumped each scout full of air to keep them afloat. What kind of a mud scout do you use?
It's an LCVP.
LCVP? I used to know it very well. She lived in Pittsburgh, as I recall. No, I think it was Harrisburg. Did you know LCVP?
No.
Would you mind describing this scow that you labor on?
Yeah. It's a 36-foot boat, and it has a 10-foot cabin. The helm is inside the cabin, and
What's your language, boy?
it stands 3 feet out of the water.
What did you say is it? You mean when you're in this thing, you ride 3 feet out of the water? Now, where is this ship?
It's at Cabrillo Beach, San Pedro Harbor.
Uh-huh. Well, is anybody on it now, or...
No.
Where is it? What is it doing there?
It's tied to a buoy.
How old is this boy?
Well, it's not a buoy, it's a mooring.
Don't change the subject. What is this boy's name? You mean to say this kid is in the water day and night down there? What about his parents? Don't they object to him?
No.
He must be awfully waterlogged when he gets home in the evening. I wonder if he's related to LCVP or lives in Now, to what far-flung exotic ports do you journey in this ship of yours?
Well, the furthest we've ever gone was Catalina.
Ah, the mysterious East. Would you take me along on one of your sea explorations?
Well, our skipper doesn't allow us to take passengers.
That skipper's got to go. What do I have to do to be a skipper?
Well, you have to first of all, you have to know navigation. Then you have to have good character. You have to be physically strong, mentally awake, morally straight. You have to have a good reputation above all.
You haven't mentioned any category where I would qualify. Well, you're both good scouts, and if I ever meet you in a revolving door, I'll be sure and do my good time for the day. Now then, we're going to play You Bet Your Life. For a chance at $1,000. Right now, I want you to pay close attention to something of great importance.
The new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 is now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The most exciting, most talked about car in America. The new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. With the new 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine. Here is the most revolutionary engine design in a generation. And it's years ahead of every other type of passenger car engine built today. The unique hemispherical or dome-shaped combustion chambers actually produce more power from every drop of gas. This means to you tremendous reserve power and acceleration at all speeds, and on regular gasoline. See it tomorrow. Drive this great new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8, with the new 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine, now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George?
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. Have you met Mr. Fenneman?
Yes,
How do you do?
This is Mr. Fenneman. Would you mind explaining the rules? This is Martha and this is Bill.
How do you do?
How you do?
You bet
They're
as
married. I forgot to tell you.
Oh. You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question at the end of the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You select the terms used in plane geometry. All right, here's your first question. How much will you bet?
17. 17.
17? Let them hear us.
17.
Okay. What is the shortest distance between 2 points?
A line.
A straight line is right.
Well, you now have $37.
Now remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the $37 will you bet on this one?
34.
You can talk.
34.
Okay, now what do you call the length of or distance around a circle?
Circumference.
The circumference is right.
You now have $71.
Here's your third question. How much of the 71 are you going to go for?
65.
How much?
65.
65? How many degrees in a right angle?
90 degrees.
90 degrees is right.
You now have $136.
Say, I'm learning something here tonight, too.
125. 125.
How much have they got?
136.
And you're going to bet 100 and what?
25.
125. What do you call a 5-sided figure? There's one in Washington.
Pentagon.
Pentagon is right.
And you wind up
What is
with
that?
$261.
Thank you. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We invited some women lawyers to the program tonight, Groucho, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mrs. Elsie Manahan, and her partner is a husband from the audience, right over there he is now. Groucho,
This guy's
is Mr.
wild. We have to wild.
This is Fred Clark, Groucho.
It's Fred Clark. Well, put it there, Fred.
Delighted to meet you, Groucho.
Glad to meet you, Freddie, old boy. Miss Elsie Manahan, huh?
That's right.
That's a good old Irish name, isn't
Just
it?
a little bit.
A little bit. You're a woman lawyer, eh?
That's right.
I used to go with one. She had quite a case on me, too. We only went together 2 months. It was just a briefcase. Where are you from, Elsie?
I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Akron?
That's
Oh,
right.
I used to play Akron, Ohio. Colonial Theater there. How long since you've left Akron?
Well, I don't want to tell you how long since I've left, but I left when I was 2.
Well, there wasn't any Colonial Theater then. There was hardly any Akron. Mr. Fred Clark, is that your name?
That's right. That's right.
He used to be a manager of the Pittsburgh baseball
Yeah, I
club.
know him very well.
You're not Fred. You're not that.
No,
Fred
I'm not
Clark.
the same fellow.
Where are you from?
Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, and Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Chicago. I lived all around.
Wouldn't it have been cheaper to pay your hotel bills?
Well, I had a company that paid them, thank the Lord.
You were sort of a roving minstrel, huh?
No, you see, I was at it quite a while.
I see. Well, where are you living now, Fred?
I'm living out at 1034 South Catalina Street,
I see.
Los Angeles.
Oh, how soon do you plan on moving?
Well, it looked like I might have to move pretty soon. Rain got me the other night about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had a little row with the owner this morning. I hired a man to help me, tried to keep the rain off, and had a little row with him. I might move.
Well, I'd wait for another rainstorm. Just take it easy.
It wasn't rain. It was a pipe broke, and he said it was an act of God. And I told him I didn't think God break any pipes.
Are you married?
I was, but it didn't work out very good.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How long did it last?
31 years. I was just tight, but I hung to it.
You were married 31 years?
You betcha.
Well, you just didn't give it a chance, Fred.
Didn't give me a chance either.
How old are you, Fred?
Pushing 60.
You're pushing 60?
You betcha.
From which direction? Now, Elsie, you're a lady lawyer, is that right?
That's right.
I'd like to ask you a question. What is your age?
33.
33. Is that the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
To the best of my knowledge.
Some lawyer, eh? Have you ever made any mistakes in court, like swearing at the judge instead of swearing in the witness?
Well, I did make one mistake. I represented a fellow who was charged with passing bad checks.
Oh, I know a fellow was charged with Celso once, and did quite a time in court.
Well, I made the mistake of accepting a check from him in payment for my fees.
And this check...
It bounced.
Now, anything else happened to you of a similar nature?
Well, I did have a rather embarrassing experience one day. I walked into court with a client. He was a gentleman, an elderly gentleman, and very distinguished looking, and we walked up to the bench, and the judge looked down, and he spoke to my client, and he says, "What is she charged with?"
That's something like the salsa joke, isn't it? Fred, let's get back to you, shall we? Not that I want to particularly, but the sponsor says I have to talk to everybody. Now, as a matter of fact, I'd like to talk to you because...
Thank you. That goes double on my side.
Well, that's fine. Put it there, Fred.
Yes, sir.
What kind of work do you do?
Well, I've retired, and I'm trying to grow old gracefully.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you be like me and grow old disgracefully?
That's where I get caught.
It's not too bad, Fred.
Well, I have to get you to help me, God.
They're very, very lenient on us oldsters.
Yeah, you're not as old as I am by a long shot.
Well?
You paid me a compliment, I'll pay you one.
Yes,
and
it's unfortunate that we're both lying.
Well, a good lie is better than the truth sometimes.
Yes, it certainly is. Say, you're quite a philosopher, Fred.
Well, thank you.
You're sort of a rolling Benjamin Franklin.
So are you.
What kind of work have you done in the past?
I started out...
before you were breaking pipes in somebody's house.
Started out in the plumbing business and lasted one day.
You were a plumber for one day?
Just one day.
And you made enough in one day to retire?
No, sir. I told the plumber I didn't like that business. He said, "You're a smart boy." So I went into something else.
He's real cute, this guy. Well, it's been nice talking to you two and education. And Elsie, next time I see my lawyer, I'll be able to give him some good advice. I'll just tell him to see the DeSoto Fire Dome 8 tomorrow. All right, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you get a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Mr. Fenneman is going to remind our listeners.
The Sea Scout and the Girl Scout leader won $261, and the secret word is knife.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected song titles that tell a story as your category. Is that clear? Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet? And talk right up.
How about 1950?
Right.
1950. All right, Jerry Fielding and his orchestra will play this song. You give me the title. Okay, Jerry.
Somebody stole my gal.
That's right. Somebody stole my gal.
And you're on your way. You have $39.50.
How much you going to bet?
39.
Out of how much?
39.50.
Play, Mr. Fielding. What's the answer you guess?
Did you mean it, or was it true?
No, you're close, but it's Do I Worry?
Oh.
You were flirting with her. Well, that's
we
a
were
shame.
worrying, all right.
That's
Not
a shame.
enough.
That's not an easy question. All right, now, how much have they got? 50 cents?
50 Right. cents.
How much of the 50 cents you going to roll?
25 cents?
Yeah.
25. All right, here we go. Mr. F.
Was it lucky April show? Find $1 million baby in the 5
That's right, $1 million baby. You found $1 million baby, and you now have 75 cents.
Right.
And it's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much you going to bet?
Shall we shoot the work?
All of it.
Shoot at everything.
75
Okay,
cents.
here we go. Play, Mr. F.
Well, you wind up with $1.50. We can't let him go away, can we?
Nobody leaves here with $1.50. Nobody leaves here with less than $25. I'm going to give you one more question, answered correctly, and we give you $23.50, right? All right, and no help in the audience, because this is a tough question. You ready?
Yeah.
Who is buried in Grant's tomb?
Right.
General Grant is right. Put it there, Grant. Thanks and good luck from the Minnesota Plymouth Dealer.
We have a couple of young ladies for you now, Groucho. They were chosen from our studio audience just before we went on the air. I'll let you find out more about them as you talk to them. Miss Haya Tarnar and Miss Marion Aberdeen, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome, youngsters, for the Minnesota Plymouth Dealers.
You right.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you use every day. Talk to you first. What is your name?
Hiya.
Hiya, but what's your name?
Hiya Turner.
Oh, in that case, Hiya. Where are you from originally, Hiya?
Haifa.
Hiya from Haifa, eh? Is that anywhere near semicolon, hyphen? Where is Haifa?
It's in Israel.
Oh, Israel. Well, Hiya, you're the first person we've ever had up here who's from Israel, and after looking at you, after casing you, Hiya, I hope you won't... Aren't native-born Israeli pretty rare? I thought everybody over there was from someplace else.
Well, we are pretty rare, even in Israel. And as a matter of fact, we have a nickname. They call us sabras, which means cactus in English.
Sabra means cactus in English?
That's right.
Why do they call you Sabra?
Well, we're supposed to be sweet on the inside and full of thorns on the outside.
Well, Hiya, if you're a cactus, I'm just an old desert rat. That's Marion Aberdeen?
That's right.
That must be... I'm sorry I've been ignoring you, but I got involved with Cactus Pete over here.
That's all right.
As a matter of fact, I wasn't exactly ignoring you anyhow. I was looking out at you at the corner of my eye. Marion Aberdeen, then? That's a Scotch name. Are you from Scotland?
No, but my father's Scotch-Canadian.
Oh. Your father's Scotch-Canadian. That makes you 1/5 of Scotch, eh?
Something like that.
Where are you from, Marion?
I was born in Syracuse, New York, in this hospital that was torn down right afterwards to make a big Coca-Cola bottling works. Then we moved to Shelton, Connecticut.
Wait a minute. You mean they took a look at you and tore down the hospital?
Yes.
That's not very flattering, is it?
it?
Well, I don't think you'd scare anybody now.
There's
Marion.
more money in Coca-Cola than there was in me. I guess they figured.
There's probably a lot of Coca-Cola in you, too. How old are you, Marion?
18?
Are you married?
No.
Engaged?
No.
How about you, Hiya? How old are you?
24.
Married?
No.
Engaged?
No.
Neither of you is married or engaged, eh? Ah, Marx, there's good news tonight. Let's see, what good deed have I done to deserve all this? Now, Hire, I gather from that uniform you're wearing, you work for some kind of an airline. Is that right?
Yes, I'm an airline hostess. I work for the El Al Israel Airlines, which is...
What is that? El Al?
That's right, El Al. It's, in Hebrew, it means up to the heights.
Uh-huh. Well, I hope you stay there when you're in the plane, huh?
I hope so, too.
Well, where do you fly?
We fly to Europe and the States, stopping in cities like Istanbul, Rome, Paris, Zurich, London, New York.
Are you scared when you're up there?
Sometimes.
Well, since Israel is only 3 years old, your airline is just a baby, isn't it? Is it safe to fly with you? You can't have had too much experience in 3 years.
Well, I think it's safe. We have very experienced personnel. As a matter of fact, my pilot, Captain O'Reilly, has about 10,000...
Hiya, my ears are not what they used to be. Would you mind repeating that?
So, Captain O'Reilly.
Captain O'Reilly? He's a native of Israel?
No.
He must live on the outskirts.
It doesn't matter. Most of our pilots are Americans.
Oh, well, why is that?
Because they have experience of 8 or 9 years, which our boys haven't got it yet.
Hiya, tell us some more about Israel. What is the climate like over there?
Just like California.
You mean the sun shines every day, but you're building lots of flood projects?
Well, it happened to us, but it happened here. It was very unusual, but we had the floods the same time you had them here.
Is that so? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a kindred spirits. Now, how about industry? What sort of things do you export?
Our biggest export is oranges. We grow oranges as big as grapefruits.
You're proud of that, eh?
Sure.
Well, don't get too cocky. California's pretty good, too, you know. Out here, we raise grapefruit as big as oranges. Well, you're charming girls, and I hope all three of us will be very happy in the near future. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Mr. Fenneman's going to remind our listeners.
The Sea Scout and the Girl Scout leader lead with $261.
See how smart you girls are. Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected royalty as your category. Here's your first... This is Mr. Fenneman.
Hi. How do you do?
No, this is higher. How much of the $20 will you bet? And talk real loud.
15.
15, yeah.
15.
Okay, what is the wife of a baron called?
Baroness.
Baroness is right.
You're on your way. You have $35.
Now, how much of the 35 are you going to risk?
30.
30, yeah.
30. What is the wife of a duke called?
Duchess.
Duchess is right.
You've now climbed to $65.
65 is your third question. How much is the 65?
60?
60?
All right. What was the wife of a czar called?
Tsarina, isn't it?
Among other things, she was called a czarina. That's right. That's right, a czarina.
You now
Not
have...
a note out of him until I say czarina. We haven't trained.
You now have $125.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the $125 you going to bet?
All of it. Hmm? Well, what have we got to lose?
Okay.
125. Shoot the works.
I bet she owns part of that Coca-Cola plant. What is the wife of an emperor called?
Empress.
An empress is right.
Well, you wind up with $250, and that means the Sea Scout and the Girl Scout leader with $261 in just 1 minute get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
Thank you.
It's here, the exciting new DeSoto Fire Dome-8 with power steering, one of the most remarkable advancements in automobile history. Here is the new DeSoto feature that takes almost all the effort out of turning the wheels. Imagine, one finger. Yes, one finger is all it takes to turn the wheels, even when the car is at a standstill. In parking your car, you've never known anything to compare with DeSoto power steering. With no more effort than it takes you to dial a phone, you can turn the wheels and glide comfortably into the tightest parking space. And out on the highway, DeSoto Power Steering makes your control of the car easier, with less road shock. No matter how bad the road, DeSoto Power Steering helps you and steady course, and with practically no effort on your part. DeSoto Power Steering. Never has there been a more brilliant advance in making it easier, safer for everyone to handle a car. See the brilliant new DeSoto with power steering, the 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine, and so many other great features. It's now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And here comes the Sea Scout Groucho and the Girl Scout leader, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
Here we go for $1,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here we go. The largest river in France divides the country into two nearly equal parts. For $1,000, what is the biggest river in France? Talk it over. What answer have you decided upon?
The Rhine?
I'm sorry. The correct answer is Loire, pronounced war, they tell me. So that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, you lost the big money, but how much did they win in the quiz?
$261.
Well, thanks and good luck from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the DeSoto Fire Dome 8 tomorrow.
Folks, here's a reminder. Help the American Red Cross to be ready for its vital role in any emergency of peace or war. Answer your 1952 Red Cross appeal. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is sky. S-K-Y.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
That's me. I won't run unless I'm drafted. Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we invited some police women to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected, Miss Geraldine Smith.
Steady now.
I got it. And her partner is a husband from the audience, Mr. William Eaton. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx, will you? Please.
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Miss Geraldine Smith, you're the policewoman?
Yes, I am.
And you have very pretty teeth besides.
Well, thank you.
Are you married?
No, I'm not married yet.
Well, you have extra pretty teeth, huh? Mr. William Eaton?
Uh-huh.
Where are you from?
Socorro, New Mexico.
How'd you meet your wife?
I was walking down Hill Street between 7th and 8th a few years ago. I saw this young lady pass me. I went a few feet and decided I'd like to have another look. So I turned around to go in her direction and met her coming back in my direction.
Well, did you make a practice of patrolling this street? Or was this just some kind of a curious quirk this night? Huh?
I think I was strictly on a innocent mission.
I see. Well, that'll teach you a lesson. Sadie Spade, is that you? No. How long have you been a female flatfoot?
I've been a
Miss
woman
Smith?
police officer for the past 5 years now.
A woman police officer, I see.
Yes, sir.
You don't like being called a flatfoot, eh?
No, I don't.
Well, I can't call you a bull because that'd be ridiculous. What sort of work do you do, Mr. Eaton, outside of 7th and 8th? You must have some other occupation, I presume.
I'm an escrow officer. I work in an escrow company.
Oh, you're not a cop, eh?
No, I'm strictly an impartial third person. Hold money and hold funds and documents until certain conditions have been complied with.
You're a third party, huh?
A third party.
Well, who's your candidate?
The fourth party.
Well, Copper, I see you're still hanging around. I may run you in for loitering, you know. I'm curious now. Just how do you get to be a female flatfoot? I mean, a woman police officer.
Well, first of all, you have to take a written, oral, and a physical agility examination from the city that you're applying to.
What are some of these tests that you take, Geraldine?
Well,
What a silly name for a policeman, huh?
Jerry is perfectly
Imagine
right.
calling a cop in the middle of the night and having Geraldine show up. Well, tell us something about the tests. What do they consist of?
Well, we have the hand grip test, and then we have the shoulder spread test.
What's a shoulder spread? Is that anything like a sandwich spread?
Oh, no.
Or a middle-aged spread? Or...
No. That's the using a machine that tests for the amount of pull of the muscles.
I see. The more pull you can exert, the better job you get. Is that it?
Well, it might be classed as partially that.
Well, now, you mentioned a hand grip. What is that anything like a Gladstone bag?
No, again.
Well, it could be.
The hand grip is gripping an instrument that records the number of poundage pressure that you can exert
I see.
in your grip.
Well, recently, I've been losing my grip. Would you object to testing my grip?
No.
How is it, huh? Here's my hand. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have nice
Hey, this
hands.
is fun. I don't know whether she's going to lead me to the altar or into jail. How does it feel, huh?
You have nice hands.
Nice hands, huh? It should be. I rub them every night with cottage cheese. Well, you make an arresting couple, and it's been most interesting talking to you, too.
Thank you.
Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. But first, you can learn something by paying attention to this.
Presenting the most spectacular new car ever built, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8, with the famous 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine. This sensational new engine has hemispherical or dome-shaped combustion chambers, a revolutionary new design that gives you more power from every drop of gas. And that means the DeSoto Fire Dome 8, operating on regular gasoline, actually outperforms other cars using premium fuels. It means when you get behind the wheel of the exciting new DeSoto Fire Dome 8, you get instant acceleration. You go from a standing start to cruising speeds in a matter of brief seconds. And at any speed range, you have tremendous reserve power. Power to spare should you need it. Yes, friends, the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 has power written all over it. So tomorrow, go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealer and see America's most talked about new car. The new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George, explain the rules.
You bet as much of your
It's
$20.
fascinating, Flatfoot.
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,500 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
All right, here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected famous inventions and discoveries as your category. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you try?
1950.
Talk up, Geraldine.
1975.
Talk right up as though you were making a
1975, he says.
pin. Who invented the magnetic telegraph?
Marconi.
Talk it over.
Marconi?
Is that Edison?
Well, Edison?
No, I'm sorry. It's Morse. It was so easy, you fell right over it. All right, now you got 2 bets left.
Yeah.
How much are you going to bet?
20 cents?
20 cents. All right, remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. That's the big money anyhow. You're going to bet 20 cents. Who invented the cotton gin?
Gin.
Whitney.
Eli Whitney is right.
You now have 45 cents.
40 cents.
How much you going to bet? 40 cents? Who evolved the special theory of relativity?
Einstein.
Einstein is right.
If you're climbing, you have 85 cents.
That's some climb, all right. You're practically in the cellar. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 85 will you go for?
85.
All right. Who invented the motion picture machine?
Is that Edison?
Eastman.
Talk it over.
Eastman.
Take a stab.
Eastman.
No, it's Thomas Edison.
They went broke completely.
Well, nobody leaves here broke. We'll give you one more question, answer it correctly, and we'll see that you win $25. Ready? What kind of an animal was Peter Rabbit? A rabbit is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Groucho, we have a housewife and a man with an interesting occupation for you now. They were chosen from our studio audience just before we went on the air. Mrs. Maria Galarza, Mr. James Hershey. Come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, folks, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Maria Galarza and Mr. James Hershey, eh? What kind of a name is Galarza?
It is of Spanish extraction.
Oh, I knew him very well. He's a dentist in Mexico City. He does Spanish extractions. Yes, he does. Were you born in Spain, Maria?
No, I come from Bronzell, Germany.
You come from Bronxville?
Bronzell, Germany.
Oh, then I presume your husband's name is Galarza. Is he the Mexican dentist?
No, he's an American with a Spanish name.
Well, how long did you know each other before he popped the question?
We knew each other about a year, and then he proposed, and then he left for the States.
This was after you accepted him? He left for the States?
No.
That's the old Army game for you. Well, what did you do? Did you pursue him?
Well, after he found out that he couldn't bring me to the States as an alien, he had to come back to Germany. So we got married in Germany.
I see. Jim, I imagine that's you over there, huh?
That's right.
Where are you from, Jim?
Well, I was born a couple of blocks from the slaughterhouse in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Was that of any help?
I wouldn't know.
What sort of work do you do?
I'm a lecturer, Groucho.
I see. Where do you do your lecturing?
Well, mostly in luncheon clubs or dinner meetings and places like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you must get pretty tired of cream chicken and peas, don't you? What kind of lectures, what are the subjects that you lecture on, Jim?
Well, for example, if I were talking to a women's club, I would talk about leadership and how they can take a more active part in politics, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Is that all?
Well...
What are some of the problems you try to settle? Could you give us an example?
Well, as an example, if a woman, were concerned with fear of ability or something on that order, I discuss how to eliminate that particular fear.
How to eliminate her husband? Is that what you mean? I suppose the audience is all men. What do you tell them?
Well, if I were talking to men, I would talk probably more about success, how to become more a success, and how to find the right field.
Well, suppose a man plays left field. What do you do? How does a man find the right field?
Well,
just keeps walking between 7th and 8th on Hill Street, I suppose.
Well, to sum it up, Groucho.
I wish you would, since you haven't said anything yet.
I would tell
him. I think it's been pretty informative, Jim. And I want to thank you. I've learned a lot from you tonight, Jim. But don't ask me what. Well, sum it up, Jim. I'd really like a summation of this.
All right. I would say, if you want to find the right field, discover what makes you happy and stick to it till it pays off.
I see. Suppose a fellow's crazy about sitting under a tree all day. Now, Maria, could you tell us how this country impressed you when you first disembarked?
I disembarked. I stepped out of a plane. But I was
That's right. Make a fool out of me.
No, I'm sorry. But
You're sorry what? That you disembarked or that you made a fool out of me? Maria, what are some of the things about this country that you like?
Oh, I like the people very much. They're easy to make friends with and very helpful and try to put you at ease as an alien. But also, I like the little things, like strawberry sundae.
Anything else over here that you like?
Yes, I like the wonderful entertainment that you can have right in your home.
Oh.
For instance, television or radio programs.
Well, don't they have these things in Germany?
Yes, they have radio, but the programs are not as good as over here.
What kind of programs do they have in Germany? Johannes oder Hausfrau?
Nein.
Ow, was haben Sie? Was haben Sie in Deutschland?
Oh, and we listen to popular classical music and concert music.
That's sehr gut, sehr gut.
And lectures.
Lectures?
And Groucho Marx.
Now, just a moment. You have Groucho Marx in Germany?
Yes.
He's an imposter. I haven't been in Germany in years. Who is this Schweinhund?
It's you.
Ich gebe dir einen Backpfeif, das ist hart, was?
It's you.
It's me? I've been insulted.
No, really not.
Now, come now. You really listen to You Bet Your Life in Germany?
You Bet Your Life, I do.
What is it called over there?
It's called You Bet Your Life.
Well, how do you say it in German?
Oh, du verwettest dein Leben.
Remember that, everybody. Well, how did you get the radio in Germany? I don't understand that.
Well, they have the American troops over there, and it's sponsored by the Armed Forces Network.
Oh, is that so?
Mm-hmm.
As I understand, now they take a recording of this program and they play it in Germany, eh?
That's what they do.
It's very interesting. Do the German people go out and buy DeSotos?
I guess they'd like to, but they cut out the commercials because it's for the army.
I see. We'll have to get in a commercial somehow. Attention, GIs in Europe. Next time somebody asks you what you're doing there, for the love of Pete, don't tell them Groucho sent you. Well, Maria, I hope you'll be very happy in your adopted country. And if you really want to see one of the finest things we have over here, just take a look at the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, you'll get a chance at the $1,500 question. Can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The policewoman and Mr. Eaton lost all their money, so this couple has a clear field. And the secret word is sky.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected familiar operatic areas as your category. Jerry will play the music, and you tell me what opera it's from.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$19.
$19. They line fast in Germany, huh?
$19.50, yeah.
Jerry and the boys will play their version of Ma Paris or Ah So Pure. You give me the name of the opera. Okay, Jerry. Arthur is right.
And you're off to a great start. You have $39.50.
Maria, when you know the answer, don't hop on it quite so quickly. We're paying these people an unholy salary out here.
I'll be at your
Wait about
side.
an hour next time. Let them play the whole opera. All right, remember you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the...
$39.50.
$39.50 will you bet?
I'll bet. We'll bet. $39.
Jerry and the orchestra will play the Barcarolle. What opera is it from?
I have to wait. The Tales of Hoffman.
The Tales from Hoffman.
And you now have $78.50.
And here's your third question. How much of this fabulous sum are you going to bet this time?
How much?
78.
78. This aria is Vesta la Juba. What opera is it from?
Il Pagliacci.
You now have $156.50.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
We bet it all.
All right, Jerry.
$156.50, right?
$156.50. Jerry will play his version of the Habanera. What opera is it from?
And you wind up with $313.
Thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
We selected an interesting young couple from our studio audience, Groucho, and I'd like you to meet them right now. Mr. and Mrs. James Marlowe, come on in and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mr. and Mrs. James Marlowe, eh? Where's your home, James? And don't spare the horses.
Nampa, Idaho.
Where?
Nampa.
Nampa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Where is that?
That's near Boise.
Where's Boise? Is that near Guernsey? Mrs. Marlowe, what's your front name?
Renee.
Renee, huh? How'd you happen to be tagged with a moniker like Renee?
Well-
Was your mother frightened by Charles Boyer? You go to the Casbah? Where are you from, Renee?
San Francisco, near the bay.
Oh. How old are you?
24.
Oh, very young-looking wife. And what is your age, Jim?
I'm 24, too.
You look like Peter Lynn Hayes, you know that?
Is that good or bad?
No, that's good. That's good, unless you're Peter Lynn Hayes. No, he's a fine-looking lad. You must have seen them on television.
Yes,
he and
I
his
have.
wife, Mary
Yeah.
Ely. And she's a beautiful girl, and you look something like her. It's quite a resemblance. Are you sure you're not the road company of Hayes and Healy?
No.
Those two kids? Jim, do you call her Renee, or do you have other pet names for her?
Well, I call her Dink.
What do you call him, Renee?
Dinky.
Why?
Because he reminds me of one.
What is a dinky? Is it anything like a pinky? Or a dinghy?
It's a cable car in San Francisco.
He reminds you of a cable car? It must be the cable car named Desire right there. Well, that's very romantic, I think. That your husband reminds you of a cable car. Was this going uphill or down? Do you remember? Dink and Dinky, eh? The only difference between you two is a Y. And you can join the Y for $9. How long have you been married, Jim?
About 5 years now.
Where did you meet your husband, Renee? I know, 7th and 8th on Hill Street. Between 15th and 16th on Chestnut Street.
No, he sat beside me in our geometry class at San Mateo High.
Geometry class? How did you find he managed to trap Jim?
We eloped to Reno.
You went to Reno to get married?
Yes.
That's the younger generation for you. They do everything backwards. Tell me, why did you elope?
Well, our parents objected.
Had they seen Jim? Was this just a general objection they had to your getting married?
I think so.
I see. Did you put a stepladder up to her window and help her down with her suitcase? Jim?
No, as a matter of fact, I didn't help her at all. Her father carried her suitcase.
That's a nice picture. She and her father going down the ladder together. What were you doing, holding the ladder?
No, as I said, I wasn't there.
You weren't even there, and she was eloping, huh? Isn't that romantic? Huh?
Her father thought she was spending a weekend with a girlfriend. That's how we arranged the deal to get out of town without being noticed.
Your father, in other words, had no idea that you were eloping. Is that it?
That's right.
That's what you think. You probably had your room rented before you rounded the corner. Jim, how did you finally break the news to your folks?
Well,
this time they were running the streetcar.
I sent a telegram to my folks after we were married, and I said, just married Renee, don't wait dinner.
And how about you, Renee? How did you notify your parents?
Well, I sent them a telegram, too, and I said, just married Jim, having a wonderful time.
I should think so.
Wish you were here.
I don't think her father wouldn't have showed up, but he was busy holding the ladder for his other daughter. Well, you're a nice young couple, and apparently the world is your oyster. Now, just look out for the months with R in them. I said that pretty good for an Easterner, huh? Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 DeSoto Plymouth question. You run your $20 into more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Mr. Fenneman is going to remind our listeners.
The girl from Germany and Mr. Hershey lead with $313.
Laughing boy, come out here, will you? He even laughs backstage. He doesn't care. Here we go. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected words beginning with the letters P-A-R. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
19.
19.
What is the word beginning with PAR that means the Legislative Assembly of Great Britain?
Parliament.
Parliament is right.
Well, you're off to a good start. You have $39.
And they're longer than the other cigarettes, too. Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. Now, how much of your $39 you're going to bet this time?
38.
38.
All right. What is the word that means to scorch, burn, or dry to excess?
Parch.
Parch is right.
You now have $77.
I thought parch was the front part of a house. Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
How much do we have?
77.
76.
76. What is the word beginning with par that means a burlesque imitation of a serious song or poem?
Parody.
Parody is right.
You now have $153.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 153?
All of it.
Okay, now I don't want to influence you. You use your own judgment here, Jim.
It's pretty bad.
No, it's been pretty good so far.
We'll bet it all.
All right. Now, what is the word that means a lady's sun umbrella?
Parasol.
A parasol is right.
You wind up with $306, and that means the girl from Germany and Mr. Hershey with $313 in just 1 minute. Get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Lady, do you hate trying to park your car in a tight parking space? Do you shudder at all the pulling and tugging that goes with it? Then wait till you drive the new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8. The new DeSoto brings you sensational new DeSoto power steering that makes turning the steering wheel as easy as dialing a phone. That's right, with only one finger, even when the car is at a standstill. With only one finger, you can turn the wheels. Thanks to DeSoto power steering, one of the most remarkable milestones in automotive history. By an ingenious hydraulic system, power steering on the new DeSoto not only takes the hard work out of parking, but on the highway it makes your control of the car easier, safer, with less road shock. No matter how bad the road, DeSoto power steering lets you literally steer almost without effort. And friends, power steering is only one of the many great features that are yours to enjoy in the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. See it. Drive it. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8 with power steering. And here's the winning couple, Groucho, the girl from Germany and Mr. Hershey, all set for the $1,500 question. Right in here.
Here it is. Situated in Salisbury Plain in England is a group of ancient stone circles, thought to be more than 4,000 years old. Their exact origin is unknown, but they're believed by some archaeologists to be temples of the Druids. For $1,500, tell me, what is this group of ruins called? Talk it over. All right, what is the answer you two have decided upon? If you don't know, guess.
Don't know.
Nothing? I'm sorry. The correct answer is Stonehenge. And our source for this is the Encyclopedia Americana. So that means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. Well, you lost the big money, but they won quite a lot. How much did they win the quiz, George?
$313
Well, it's not too bad. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the DeSoto Fire Dome 8 tomorrow.
Folks, here's a rhyme from the National Safety Council. The rules for driving safety add up to only 3: common sense and caution, and common courtesy. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is name. N-A-M-E.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Groucho! What a ridiculous name. Oh, that's me! Well, here I am again with $2,000 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we invited some girls from a department store to the program tonight.
And about time.
And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Margaret Myers. Her partner, Clem Swartz, has an interesting occupation. And here they come now. Folks, come on in to meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, youngsters. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers. And if you say the secret word, you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Let's see now. Miss Margaret Myers, huh? You work in a department store, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Seward, Nebraska.
What department store are you
Broadway
laboring
Hollywood.
under? What's that?
Broadway Hollywood.
You work at the Broadway Hollywood?
Yes, I do.
Huh? Well, really, that store carries prettier merchandise than I realized. Let's have a go at it someday. And you're Mr. Clem Schwartz, huh?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you pronounce it, Schwartz?
Yes, sir.
You'd say yes at anything, I can see that. Where are you from, Clemmy?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Come again?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
I don't care what you broke. I asked you where you're from. Now, Clem, Fenneman says that you have an interesting occupation. Just what do you do?
Well, sir, I'm a rodeo rider.
You're a radio writer?
Rodeo.
What show are you on, the March of Time?
Well, no, sir.
What kind of a radio writer?
A rodeo rider, you know.
Oh, a rodeo rider.
That's
Well, that's
the way
a horse of a different color, huh? How did you happen to get into that kind of a job?
Well, sir, I was raised back home on the ranch, and all the boys that I knew, you know, they rodeoed for a living, and golly, you know, it's a lot better deal of doing that than it is working for a living.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, Clem. Makes horse sense, as a matter of fact. Now, let's go shopping in your store. What kind of, Margaret, what do you do there?
I work in the notions department.
Well, what is a notion? I've seen that word many times, but just what does it mean?
Well, it's a notion, whatever you get a notion to have. It's hard to describe.
Well, some of the notions I have, you said you couldn't buy in a department store. Do you have any headaches in a job like that?
Oh, yes, lots of them.
Like what?
Oh, for one thing, we can't get enough girls in our department.
Yeah, well, I've had that complaint, too. You too, Clem?
Oh, gosh, yes.
I should imagine you do right well, Clem.
But that's just about all I do, I reckon. It's amazing.
You haven't got a girl out here, Clem?
Oh, gosh, no, I couldn't find one. And all these people out here, they're city folks, you know?
You mean city folks don't have girls? Is that what you're implying?
Well, the city boys has already got them, if you know what I mean.
How about down there in Kadiddlehopper where you were born? Is that the name of it? How about that? Did you have a girl down there?
Yeah, I had one down there.
And is that why you came up here?
No, not hardly.
Well, is she pining for you down there in the middle of the road, the highway?
Well, she might be, but I don't hardly think so now. I'm fixing to get a new one if I get the right kind of an opportunity, you know.
Well, what would you regard as a likely opportunity?
Well, shucks, I reckon just one that wasn't married.
Clem, your standards are too high. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,000 question. Right now, I want you to pay close attention to some mighty interesting information.
Have you seen, have you driven the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8? It's America's most spectacular new car. Featuring the revolutionary new DeSoto 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine that's the talk of the engineering world. What a thrill when you get behind the wheel of the new DeSoto, when you feel the tremendous surging power, the instant acceleration at your command at all speeds. Because DeSoto's new 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine is America's most powerful engine design. Its unique dome-shaped combustion chambers produce more power from every drop of gas and on regular gasoline. Not only that, the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 also brings you amazing new power steering, so that even in parking, when your car's at a standstill, you can turn the steering wheel with one finger. Yes, as easy as dialing a phone. Tomorrow, go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealers and see and drive the new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8. America's most spectacular new car.
By the way, congratulations. Congratulations, Fenneman. Huh? You know, George was voted the best announcer in television by 1,500 newspaper editors in the recent Fame poll. And that is the real poll. And I was delighted to find out that you won this, George. And I hope that you don't try to strike us for more money. That's all. Now, here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected songs about animals as your category. How much of the $20 you going to bet?
Well, I think about $16.
I reckon that'll be a plenty, won't it?
$16. Well, okay. Give me the title of this animal song. Play, Jerry.
Monkey and the Weasel. Pop goes the weasel.
Pop goes the weasel is right.
Well, you're off to a good start. You have $36.
Remember, you're going for $2,000 tonight. Now, how much of the 36 will you bet this time?
35, I reckon.
35, he reckons.
Sergeant said.
He does more reckoning without ever adding up. All right, play, Jerry.
Woo! Donkey Serenade.
All right, what is it? No, the Whistler and his dog.
You now have $1.
You have $1. How much you reckon you're going to bet this time, Clem?
Well, that we're getting kind of low, aren't we? Let's just bet 50 cents.
50 cents, is that?
50 cents. Let's see if you can identify this animal song. Play, Jerry. Right.
You now have $1.50.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are you going to reckon?
Oh, let's might as well bet it all.
Shucks, let's save just a little bit. Let's
Okay.
get
Okay.
I'm going to bet $1.48.
You're going to bet $1.48, eh? He's reckoning us, and we're wrecking him. All right, here we go for $1.48. Play.
Gray mare, she ain't what she used to be.
Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be.
And you'll wind up with $2.98.
Nobody leaves here with $2.98. I'm going to give you one more question, get it right, and we bring your winnings up to $25. You ready? How long do you cook a 3-minute egg? 3 minutes is right.
We have a housewife for you now, Groucho. Mrs. Marshall Lester. She was picked from our studio audience just before we went on the air. Her partner is a special guest, a member of the Los Angeles City Council, Mr. Kenneth Hahn. And here they are, folks. Meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mrs. Marshall Lester and Councilman Kenneth Hahn, eh? Oh, come now. Are you really a councilman?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Can't be. You've got your hands in your own pockets. I apologize, Mr. Hahn. I didn't really mean that. It just slipped out. Will you ignore what I just said?
Certainly.
He's a politician, all right. He'll ignore anything we voters have to say. Mrs. Marshall Lester, you're the housewife, huh?
Yes.
I'll call you Marcia, and you can call me Mallow. How'd you meet your husband?
Well, I was coming out of the May Company just loaded with packages.
You were, eh?
And,
I hope you didn't get stuck in a revolving door.
well, almost just as bad. I slipped, and it was raining, and I was trying to hold my little umbrella, and I pulled my husband down, an innocent bystander with me. And that's how we met. He helped me up, and he's been helping me ever since.
Sounds like a real romance. They fell for each other in the month of May. Oh, no, that was a department store. Mr. Kenneth Hahn, you're a councilman, eh? I find it very stimulating talking to a councilman. Can you fix a traffic ticket?
No, Groucho.
Well, I don't see any point in continuing this conversation. I can't keep calling you Mr. Hahn, a young, fine-looking fellow like you, a councilman. What shall I call you?
My friends call me Kenny.
Incredible. A man in public office who still has friends? Why, his son Kenny. How old are you, Ken?
31.
31, huh? And how long have you been in office?
I've been in office 5 years.
I imagine you've had some interesting experiences with your constituents. Do you remember any hot ones that you could relate?
Well, just a week or so ago, a lady called me at my home at 10:30 at night.
Are you married?
Yes, I am. So she called me at 10:30 at night. Got
Where
me
was
out
your
of-
wife?
My wife was in bed.
Where were you?
I was in bed too, and the phone was ringing. So I jumped up to answer it. I thought it was some kind of emergency call.
Now, what kind of an emergency call did a politician get?
Oh, we get them plenty of calls, Groucho.
Is that so?
People in trouble or in jail, or they got a house is burning, or they want somebody to go to the hospital. Half the time they call a councilman instead of calling the right departments. So anyway, this lady calls me and says,
You're not going to let me horn in on this at all. He's going to wind up being governor. Then you're going to chase those grunion, you know that.
It'll be a lot of fun to do. So anyway, she
You
called
got
me.
a daughter named Honey Bear?
Oh, I have a son. I have another.
Well, call him Honey Bear. Can't be elected unless you have a child named Honey Bear.
Well, I'll call the next one Honey Bear.
Okay. That's a promise now.
So she calls me at 10:30 at night. She said that the garbage.
It's about 11 now, isn't it?
She said.
On with the story.
All right, on with it. She said.
And the torpedoes.
Supposed to be the hit. She said the garbage man forgot to pick up her garbage for 2 consecutive times. She said she lives in a 4-family flat, that her garbage pail is full, her neighbors are full, and she's using the dish pan. She got all the dishes, and her husband's mad at her, and she wanted me to do something about it. So I called her for emergency truck to see what they could do to help this lady out. Well, the next morning, they went by about midnight, I imagine, picked up the garbage. The next morning, she woke me. She was at the door about 7:30. Oh, I mean, wait a minute, cross that out. She woke me about 6:30. I'm always up early. And,
I'm letting him hang himself now.
At 6:30.
You notice I don't say anything anymore. You're riding alone, Councilman.
I'm afraid of that. So she said, Mr. Hunt, she says, I'll always vote for you. She said, that was just wonderful for you to come out last night and pick up the garbage yourself. She said, I just want to know, where did you put it? And how'd you get it in your car? She says, if you know where to do it, she says, or she said, if you know how to get rid of the garbage, she says, maybe next time I can do it.
Well, Ken, I've been standing here taking pot shots at you, and I think it's only democratic to give you a chance to do the same. You're at liberty to say anything you want.
Well, since this is an election year, I won't say too much except this, Groucho. Sincerely, that you are contributing a great deal to the welfare of our country. You're making millions of people laugh. I think you're doing a great deal for our country.
Well, that's very flattering, and next election I'll run to the polls and vote for you. Is that okay?
But you don't live in my district, do you?
Well, don't let that stop you. Well, I've kidded you, Mr. Hahn, but it was only in jest. And if you really want to find out what the people are thinking about it, you should take a look at the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Would you take a look at it for me?
I will, tomorrow morning.
Not too early. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you get a chance at the $2,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
Clem and his partner won $2.98, and the secret word is name.
All right, now here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected initials of government organizations. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you go for?
18.
18. That all right with you, Miss Mallow?
Fine.
She suggested.
Oh. What? What do the initials RFC stand for?
Reconstruction Finance Corporation.
Absolutely right.
And you're off to a good start with $38.
Now you're going for $2,000 tonight. How much of the 38 are you going to risk? Talk up. Talk up, Marcia. Let's hear you.
37.
37. The initials AEC stand for an important government group. What do these initials stand for?
Atomic Energy Commission.
You're absolutely right.
You now have $75.
This fellow's bright enough to get out of politics. Here's your third question. How much of the 78 are you going to bet?
75.
75.
74.
74. What do the initials TVA stand for?
Tennessee Valley Authority.
Absolutely correct.
now have $149.
You're crazy if you don't run for mayor. And you're crazy if you do. Now, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 149?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. The initials VA stand for an important government group. What do these initials stand for?
Veterans Administration.
All right.
You wound up with $298.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
We have a school teacher and a telephone operator for you now, Groucho. Mr. Robert Crawford is the teacher, and Miss Virginia Ryan is the operator, chosen by our studio audience just before we went in the air. And here they are.
Splendid.
Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Virginia Ryan. And you're a telephone operator, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from, Virginia?
Thelma, Iowa.
Are you married?
No.
Oh. That's terrible, a telephone girl without a ring. Well, I'll have to put in a plug for you sometime, huh? How is it, how come you're not married? Let's get colloquial here, huh?
Well, I'm not in any hurry.
She's a telephone operator, all right. But if I asked her for a date, she'd give me the busy signal. Mr. Robert Crawford, that's you, huh?
Right.
You look like Francis Ouimet, the fellow who used to be golf champion. Anybody ever tell you that?
No.
Are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
How did you meet your wife?
I don't think that's worth discussing.
Well, I think every married man feels that way about it. Nevertheless, we're very persistent here. How did you meet her?
Well, to be truthful, I was coaching a basketball team in a 7-state tournament.
You were coaching basketball?
Coaching basketball.
Were you dribbling or drooling?
A little of both, I imagine.
What do you to teach?
I teach some math courses. I'm head of the mathematics department.
Oh, say, you're quite a fellow here, eh? Basketball and mathematics, huh? What should I call a math teacher? You have a pretty dignified position. I can't call you Robbie. What shall I call you?
Well, for about 12 years, my students have been calling me Uncle Fudd.
That's quite dignified, eh? Where do you teach, Fudd?
Santa Monica High School.
You don't teach, Fudd. I mean, where do you teach? Fudd. It's not getting any clearer.
I teach at
Fudd, where do you teach? I'll turn this thing around.
I teach at Santa Monica High School.
Oh, well, what are some of the subjects you teach these innocent children?
Well, you see, some of the students are planning to go to college, and that's the group that I teach, the upper group. I teach them college algebra, solid geometry, trigonometry.
Well, tell us about college algebra. What is that like?
I think it'd be more logical if I told you about high school algebra first.
That's not quite true. It'd be more logical if you first told me about kindergarten algebra. Do you have any tricks for cramming mathematics down these unsuspecting little gullets?
Well, I think I do. Most of the teachers use X's and Y's and Z's, but I have 3 little characters that I use, which I call which is a circle, and ha, which
is a circle?
Is a circle.
Well, I never knew that, huh?
You think in them. And then we have ha.
I don't think in circles now. You've got me wrong.
Ha is a square.
Yes, that's me, all right.
And the character I call z, which is a diamond. And I use these to solve equations.
Could you give us a sample equation just so this would clarify itself in my mind?
Well, for example, the solution of a quadratic with these characters as coefficients would be x is equal to a minus ha plus or minus the square root of ha squared minus 4 z all over 2 The original quadratic was x squared plus ha x plus z equals 0.
Well, tell us something about basketball. Well, I've learned a lot tonight, and I'll probably get a bill from the phone company for all this extra conversation. Even talk isn't cheap anymore. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question. All you got to do is run your $20 into more than our other couples. Can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
Councilman Hahn and his partner lead with $298.
Oh, I have a note here to remind me to tell you something. A good friend of mine, S.J. Perelman, has written a slanderous piece about me in the new issue of Holiday magazine. I think you'll like it. You'll find it in the April issue of Holiday. He's a wonderful writer, and even if you don't like the subject matter, I think you'll be crazy about it. Now then, we'll play the quiz. All right, here we go. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected husband and wife teams of radio and television. Here's your first question. How much of the $20 will you bet and talk out loud?
$19.52.
Here we go. One of the most popular husband and wife teams in radio actually use their own kids, Ricky and David, on their program. What is the name of this couple?
Ozzie and Harriet.
Ozzie and Harriet is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $39.52.
By the way, I saw them in their new movie, Here Come the Nelsons, the other night, and it's real George. For you squares in the audience, that means very good, and I recommend that you go see it. Remember, you're going for $2,000 tonight. Now, how much of the $39.52 you going to bet this time?
$39?
It'll be fine.
Oh, make it tough on yourself. You're a math teacher.
$39.08. $39.40 and 2 mils.
And don't forget, the mills of the gods grind slowly. But they grind exceeding fine.
Now, what's he going to bet?
How much you going to bet? Don't let him talk you out of it now, Scott.
$39.40 and 2 mils.
That's right. This man is allegedly a graduate of the University of San Francisco. He ought to know that.
402.
All right, here we go. Who played the title roles in The Halls of Ivy?
Ronald Coleman and his wife, Benita.
Benita Coleman. That's close enough. We'll give you that.
I have it.
Just a moment. How much have you got?
78.92.2.
Exactly what I had.
And I had it right on the tip of my tongue, too. All right, what is the name of the couple who live in... how much you bet?
We will bet $78.90.
And no sun teams?
That's good
and
enough.
3 pesos, huh?
I got 3 pesos.
All right, what is the name of the couple who live in Wistful Vista?
Fibber McGee and
Fibber
Molly.
McGee and Molly. Just a moment. How much have they got, Fudd?
Oh, let's see. I lost track.
All right.
I've got it. You have $157.82 in 2 of those mills.
Now they got 4 mills. Now they got the Mills brothers. All right, it's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much you going to bet?
We'll bet $157.81.
Okay. I Love Lucy stars a husband and wife team. What are their names?
Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Absolutely. Answering all those questions.
You wind up with $315.63, 2 mills, and that means that you two, in just 1 minute, get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question. Attention all car owners. Now is the time to get your car ready for warmer weather. Now is the time to drive in at the famous sign of better service, your DeSoto Plymouth dealers, and ask for a springtime live action tune-up. First of all, the DeSoto Plymouth dealers' expert mechanics will go over the engine of your car, adjusting the carburetor, distributor, and timing, cleaning and regapping the spark plugs, cleaning and servicing the air cleaners. This will mean new pep to your car and more miles to the gallon. Your DeSoto Plymouth dealer will see to it that your car is properly lubricated to factory specifications and the engine oil changed, as well as transmission and differential lubricants. Your car's electrical system will be checked after the heavy load of winter. The cooling system, too, will be put in shape for the extra miles of warmer weather driving. So, for extra power, extra economy, extra satisfaction, tomorrow, take your car for that springtime live action tune-up. Take it where you see the famous sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And here comes the school teacher and the telephone operator, the winning couple, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question.
All right, here we go for $2,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Ready? One of the most dramatic episodes of World War II occurred in December 1939, when a German pocket battleship was scuttled and burned off the coast of Uruguay. For $2,000, what was the name of this ship? All right, what is the answer you two have decided upon?
Closest we can say is the Schornhorst.
No, I'm sorry. It's the Graf Spee, I guess. S-P-E-E. That, the Graf Spee is the correct answer, so that means the big question next week will be worth $2,500. Well, you lost the big money, but how much did they win the quiz, George?
$315.63.
Congratulations, and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. 2 great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see DeSoto Fire Don't Make tomorrow.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. The 3 R's of safe driving are ready, reasonable, right. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
And Coke? Marie, I'm not going to ask you how old you are because that'd be too crude, don't you think so?
I'll be delighted to tell you my age, and I'm proud of it. I'm 76 years old.
Well, you don't look it. You look like a young girl.
But I feel like I'm 16.
You feel like you're 16?
Yeah.
Well, you look like you're about 18. What do you mean you feel like you're 16?
Well, because I can do anything a 16-year-old girl can do.
You can, eh?
I can walk miles, and I can climb a 6-foot ladder and paint the screens and cut the lawn and do anything.
Can you eat 3 bananas?
And I don't have any neuritis or arthritis or any other kind of itis like old women have. I have no varicose veins because I had won a contest showing my legs.
You won a contest for varicose veins?
I haven't got any.
Oh. Well, how did you win?
Because I didn't have any.
Oh, I see. I know they've had all kinds of contests. I didn't know they had one like that.
I won it anyway because I don't you see I haven't got any varicose veins.
Pretty nifty pair of gams. I'm no bum either, you know. Let's see yours.
Oh, mine beats yours.
Yeah, let's all look at it. Howie, come on there, up with it, boy. He's a shy type, huh? Marie, you married?
Oh, must be so. 55 long years.
55 years. That's
Yeah.
certainly something to be proud of.
You bet it is.
After a half a century with the same man, how do you feel about him, Marie?
Oh, I love him just the same as I did the first day I met him.
Well, answer my question. How do you feel about him?
All right.
Well, it's wonderful. 2 people can be married 55 years and still be in love. I'd like to get a look at this wonder man. Mr. Hobbs, would you please stand up?
Oh, he's not here. He lives in Tennessee, and I live here. That's why we stay married so long.
And you live
I
here?
live here. That's 2,600 miles apart.
No wonder it's a perfect
You
marriage.
bet it is.
nuts about this guy, huh?
Oh, I am.
Do you recommend this kind of an arrangement, Mary?
Oh, I think it's wonderful because familiarity breeds contempt and absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Well, of course, you can overdo that philosophy, too.
Yeah,
Well, Frank, tell us something about your school. How do you dress at this place? Blue jeans and T-shirts hanging out like other high school boys?
Not quite, sir. We're required to wear clean-pressed pants, clean-pressed shirt, and hair well combed, clean-shaven, shoes shine, so the expecting officer can see his teeth in them.
You're assuming that the officer has teeth, huh?
You do, sir.
They do, huh? You have to be clean-shaven?
Absolutely, sir.
Well, my guess is the Gillette razor people are not getting rich of your school over there. Marie, what are your plans for the future? Do you have any in particular, like becoming a sandhog?
Well, in order to keep the children from worrying or go to any expense, I made all my funeral arrangements. Got it all paid for.
You have your funeral all paid for?
Yeah, the preacher and the organist and everything.
Well, that's certainly an unusual way of looking at your demise.
Well, it's a good investment on your money. You get 4% if I live to be 100.
One, the only.
Just another ham. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $3,000 for one of our couples. And if any of them say the secret word, the duck, which is up here, will fly down and give them $100. The word tonight is glad. Okay, duck, go lay an egg. Fenneman, who's up the bat?
Well, Groucho, we invited some railroad men to the show tonight.
You did.
And our audience selected Mr. Ronald...
Keep track of them, you said?
The railroad men?
That's the tie that binds, huh?
Yeah. Groucho, we invited some railroad men to our show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Ronald Grice to be on the show. His partner is Josefina Dean. She has an interesting occupation.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Let's see, Josephina Dean and Ronald Grice. Is that approximately right?
My name's Josefina, but everybody calls me Fina.
Oh, Fina.
Well, Groucho, I have some interesting information about Miss Dean.
You do? Well,
yes.
We should slip it to me later, huh?
Well, right now, I'd like to say that Miss Dean becomes the 1,600th contestant that we've had on this show.
Really?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Give me 5, huh? You don't win anything, but congratulations anyhow. Well, that's, now that we've passed that milestone, let's find out something about you two. Josephina, is that the way you pronounce it?
Josefina.
Oh, Josefina. Well, Fina is, I'll call you Fina, huh?
That's good. Everybody calls me that.
I'll call you Fina, and you can call me Barbato, huh? And if that doesn't put everybody to sleep, nothing will. Where are you from, Fiend?
I'm from Laredo, Texas.
Laredo, huh? Is that near Nacogdoches?
It's a city on the musical scale. Laredo, you know?
Laredo. Oh, was it named deliberately after a musician or something?
I'm sure so.
Fina, your face is very familiar. Haven't I met you someplace before?
I processed your passport application last summer, remember it?
Oh, that's right. You remember me, too, huh?
Surely. You asked more questions than anybody has ever asked in the passport department.
Why should you remember that? Doesn't everybody ask you questions?
Yes, but the questions you asked had nothing to do with passports.
That's true, and your answers had nothing to do with my passport either. I'll get back to you in a minute, Fiend. Right now, I'd like to talk to your partner. Ronald Grice, huh? Where are you from, huh?
Well, the Buckeye State, Ohio.
Buckeye State?
Oh, definitely.
Are you married?
Yes.
Why do they call it the Buckeye State? And why are you married?
Well, that's kind of a long story, but I'll cut that short. The Buckeye State, they naturally raise Buckeyes back there. Why am I married?
What is a Buckeye?
I believe that's a particular kind of a nut that grows on a tree.
Well, let's keep personalities out of this. What is your job, Ronald?
Well, I'm a locomotive fireman.
Oh. Well, a fireman on a big locomotive is one job I've never envied. Isn't that hard work? Shoveling coal all day into a hot furnace?
Well, railroad firemen nowadays do not have to shovel coal. We burn oil.
Shoveling oil is even tougher than shoveling coal.
Well,
unless you're shoveling soft coal.
Fortunately for us, where they have it piped up to where it goes in kind of automatically. You know, you turn the valve here, pull a lever.
Oh, it comes out here, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Much easier than using the shovel.
You must have a soft touch, huh? Just turn the valve and your work's all done. You must have a lot of time to catch up on your reading, huh?
Well, we're not allowed to read while on duty.
No? Well, the next time you read, see if you can find out what Buckeye is, huh?
I'll do that.
Well, you're a nice couple, and I hope you win lots of money in the quiz tonight, Pina. Now, you select the general information quiz, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with?
We decide on 50.
50. Well, that's a nice... What city was buried in ashes when Vesuvius erupted in 79 A.D.? Talk it over. Time's up.
That was Athens, Greece, a little bit before my time.
That was before my time, too, but it was Pompeii.
Oh, sure.
Well, you lost half your original $100. You still have $50.
All right, now what are you going to try? The bigger they are, the harder they are.
Well, we'll go down 1 degree, 40.
All right, who uses a light meter and a filter in his profession?
A photographer.
That's right, Buckeye, a photographer.
You now have $90.
Now what are you going to try?
The lady says 60.
60. Who is the Spanish queen who financed Columbus's voyage to the New World?
Isabella?
Isabella is right.
You now have $150.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. What are you going to go for?
Okay, well, we'll try to lose some money. 100.
100. On top of what famous Washington building is the Statue of Freedom? It's a tough one, but it's a lot of money. Talk it over.
The Capitol building?
That is right, the United States Capitol.
Wind up with $250.
Buckeye, you were okay.
Next couple is ready and waiting, Groucho. They're Mrs. Edna Albright and Mr. Tom Sawyer. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Albright, I'll start with you. Do you mind if I call you Edna? Or do you want to be called Eden?
No, just Edna.
Edna, huh? Where are you from, Ed?
From Scandia, Kansas.
Scandia? I thought that was in Sweden. On the Sunset Strip. Now, Mr. Sawyer, you're rather a large party. Could you give us some idea of your size?
Well, Groucho, I'm a little over 6 feet, and I tip the scales at 272 pounds.
How old are you, Mr. Sawyer?
47.
47, huh? Well, where are you from originally?
Kankakee, Illinois.
Oh, I played Kankakee. It's a nice town, wouldn't you say that?
Well, a quaint town.
Yes, it is.
It's one of these towns where you go down the street of the morning, and instead of saying hello, the people say, "Do you know?"
They must have some very stimulating conversations. Well, could you illustrate what you mean? Pretend I'm walking down the street and you spot me now. How would the conversation go?
Well, I'd say, "Hello, Groucho. Do you know that Farmer Jones just had a heifer?"
You're kidding. Do you know I didn't even know he was married? Is that all they do in Kankakee, have heifers?
Well, some of the people don't. They have children.
Well, Eden, is that your name, Eden?
Edna.
Oh, Edna. Let's get some inside dope about you. What do you do for excitement, Eddie?
Raise roosters.
You know, I knew the minute you strutted in here, I said to myself, now there's a rooster woman if I ever saw one. Well, how far off the ground do you raise roosters? What is there about roosters that you find particularly interesting?
Well, I've been breeding for intelligence.
You've been breeding roosters for intelligence?
For intelligence, beauty, with a view to writing about it. And that's what I'm getting some books together.
How many birds do you have at present?
Well, I've got about 400 altogether.
Where do you keep them, and what do you do with all the shoes and pots that come over the fence?
Well, I have the hens and the rabbits and the ducks where I live, and I've had to move the roosters.
That's not very handy for the hens, is it?
No, this is bad for the roosters. It changes their personality.
Well, don't you think it should? Well, Mr. Sawyer, let's leave Edna's other rooster and find out some more about you. What sort of work do you do?
I'm a freelance writer.
Really? I'm glad we finally got back to the cultural level that we're accustomed to on this show. Do you write books?
No, I write for magazines.
What are some of the stories you've written? Maybe I've read them.
Well, let's see. Bullets are leaking blood, and vengeance rides a bloody trail, and murder points a bloody finger.
You just write for children, huh?
Well, most people read them, I hope.
Now, what name do you write under? Tom Sawyer?
Well, most of them are Ned Carter, Lieutenant J.G. Black, Sylvia Sawyer, and Tom Sawyer. The last one I wrote, was recently published, was an article, Should the Girl Kiss Her Beau Goodnight?
This is the whole story?
That was the article, the name of it. It was an article about how they should kiss the boyfriend goodnight.
And well, what was your opinion? What did you tell the girl?
Naturally not to kiss him goodnight.
You Benedict Arnold, you. Well, you're a nice, normal, everyday couple. You're my kind of people. Now, let's see how you can make out in the quiz. You selected American history. That's right.
In the race for the $3,000, the first couple won $250. The secret word is glass.
Remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with? Remember your partners.
We agreed. $100 question.
100? Is that all right with you?
Whatever he says.
Hey, Martha Dandridge Custis became the wife of what great American figure?
George Washington.
That is right.
Well, you now have $200.
All right, now what are you going to try?
Well, we're going to write down the string. 90.
90. Okay, what was the first capital of the United States under the Constitution?
Philadelphia.
No, I'm sorry. It's New York. You should have asked Edna. She may have had some roosters in Philadelphia.
Well, you lost half your $200. You now have $100.
Okay, now what are you going to go for?
$80.
$80. Now, you ask Edna this time, too, because she may have some knowledge about these things. What was the name of the French nobleman who fought on our side during the Revolution?
That's right, sir.
Lafayette.
Lafayette, we are here.
You now have $180.
This is your last chance to be the other couples. What are you going to go for?
70.
70? Who was the first vice president of the United States?
Adams.
John Adams is correct.
You wind up with $250.
Look at that.
We invited some military school boys to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Frank Luke to be on the show. His partner is a housewife, Mrs. Marie Hobbs. So, folks, you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Howdy.
How are you?
I'm fine. Frank Luke, huh? Yes, sir. You're the youngest. I'll start with you. Where are you from, Frankie?
From Military Academy, sir.
You were born in a military academy?
No, sir.
How did you arrive? Were you shot out of a cannon? Like
I was born in
buckwheat?
San Diego, sir.
Oh,
Really,
San Diego. You know the chief of police down there?
No, sir.
How old are you, Frankie?
16, sir.
16, huh? What is your rank in this academy? Are you a general?
A captain, sir.
Captain. Well, you're a fine-looking lad. Now, if you just stand at parade rest for a minute, I'll talk to your partner here. Let's see now. You are Marie Hobbs, is that right?
Call me Marie.
I'll call you Marie.
I'm delighted to have you call me Marie.
Where's your home, Marie?
Memphis, Tennessee, way down in Dixie.
Well, that's mighty fine country around there.
Certainly is.
A lot of corn pone down there.
Oh, you bet. Ham hock and navy beans.
Yes. A ham hock, that's an actor that puts his wife